Okay, we've got a couple of FiZZ GiZ dispensers here and a FiZZ GiZ cap. We have a bottle. We have cold water in a Tropicana pitcher. And first thing I want to show you is that FiZZ GiZ has a cup at the bottom. Now in that cup you can put a CO2 bulb. This happens to be one of the FiZZ GiZ brand CO2 bulbs. They're $1.15 each, and they come with a 25-cent refundable deposit. So if you buy and use a couple of hundred of these bulbs and you save the empties, when you send the empty bulb back and you have a hole in them like this, they've been used and expended, well, then you'll get 25 times 200 is $50. So we pay you $50 for these. We recycle. Now this bulb fits into the FiZZ GiZ cup the following way. You put it in here. If you want to store it and take it with you, you can put it in like that, and that prevents the bulb from inadvertently being punctured during transit. When you're ready to use it, you turn the bulb around, you put it in the cup, and then you screw it on to the FiZZ GiZ handheld dispenser. If you screw it all the way on, it activates it punctures the end of the CO2 bulb and allows you to dispense CO2 from it. I have one here that already has a bulb in it, and we're going to use this to carbonate a bottle of water. So let's get a bottle of water to start with, and you want to fill the bottles, you know, roughly up to the shoulder. And this is cold water. Cold water carbonates a little more quickly and better than does warmer water. A good idea if you're going to keep your drinks for a substantial period of time in the fridge is purge the air from the headspace. And now you have a pristine environment for your drink to reside in. Shake off the excess water, clean up the mess that I made. So now you have a bottle of water, you have your dispenser with a CO2 bulb in it. Watch this. Are you focused? Okay. It slows down to a trickle because there's a pressure regulator inside the FiZZ GiZ that will only put a safe amount of CO2 inside this bottle that it is capable of holding. These bottles will hold 150 psi without a problem as long as they're soda bottles or seltzer bottles. You cannot use aspirin bottles, milk jugs, mayonnaise jars. Those things don't work. You've got to have a soda bottle because it's designed to house pressurized contents. So we've put roughly about, let's say, 1.5 grams, maybe 1 gram of CO2. You can actually weigh that on a gram scale. And if you shake it up really, really good to mix the CO2 in well, then the bottle gets a little softer because the CO2 is mixed in. And it lets you put in some more. And we're going to do it again here. You can hear the regulator clicking as it's doing its job. You can see the bubbles are slowing down to a trickle. Now this thing is hard again, just like it was. Okay, it's fully pressurized, probably to the tune of about 60, 70, 80 psi. And as you shake it in, the bottle will get just a tiny bit softer. And then you can top it off if you want to with a third injection of CO2. Watch what happens. I am not pressing very hard. I am barely touching the tip of the dispenser to the little nipple valve, the little silicone valve. It doesn't take a lot of force. If you push too hard, you stop the flow of CO2. Okay, so we have a fully pressurized bottle. I'm going to shake it up and let it sit for just a minute because you know when you shake up a drink, you don't want to open it right away. All right, that is a fairly quick and simple demo of the FiZZ GiZ handheld dispenser. If you've ever seen the inside of a CO2 bulb, this is what it looks like. This is one that's cut in half. A lot of people want to know, are these things food grade? Well, food grade is not an applicable term to CO2. Pure carbon dioxide is by nature okay to consume. We all have carbon dioxide. We breathe in air. We exhale carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is in the air. It is not poisonous. If it's pure, that means clean, nothing else in it, CO2, then there's no problem with it. People are always asking about food grade CO2. There's no such thing as food grade CO2. If you have pure CO2, it's just pure CO2. It doesn't make it food grade, it's just pure CO2. If you have impure CO2, then that is not something that necessarily that you want. If it's a little bit of nitrogen or a little bit of oxygen, that's no big problem. But if it were, you know, some nasty substance that was bad for you, then that would not be good. While they're making these steel cartridges, one of the things that they do to keep these from binding up in their equipment is to use lubricants. And lubricants are sprayed. They're dyes that press down to make this shape what it is, and they put lots of lubricants on their equipment to keep these things from binding up and seizing in their equipment. They use lubricants for drilling the neck out. There's all kinds of things. And in the case of bulbs that are intended for food grade applications, they don't bother washing the bulbs. If you're going to use a CO2 bulb, you know, something along this line here, and you're going to put it into a BB gun or a pellet gun, or use it to inflate a life raft or a life vest in the event of emergency, then it's not a big deal whether it is a clean cartridge or not. But if you're going to use it to make soda or to do pressure infusion marination or something along that line, then you'd like the manufacturer to spray hot water and detergent inside and rinse it and then dry it, and so you'd end up with a clean bulb. This is a miniature scuba tank. Scuba divers know better than anyone about the importance of having clean tanks. Very rarely do tanks get dirty, but if in case they did, you would unscrew the main valve off of your tank, use a bottle brush to clean it, wash it, rinse it, dry it, put the cap, the main valve back on, and use it. Just like a dirty coffee cup or a dirty dish. You clean it, then you dry it and use it. So that's what the inside of a typical CO2 bulb looks like. Let's open up our newly carbonated drink. And I'll try to... Okay. So now you have a nice fully carbonated beverage that you made with your FiZZ GiZ handheld dispenser. And it's about all that I have to say, so cut the video.